Hello everyone, this is PHTV4. I'm Sue Jankowski. Today we're around Palos with the Garden Club. It's actually the Palos Heights Garden Club, and today we have two of the members here, and that is Debbie Ray. Debbie is the president of the Palos Heights Garden Club. Welcome today. Debbie, nice to have you here.
Thank you, it's great to be here.
And Lori Martin, who is a board member of the Garden Club. And I know they're both very, very active members, and they're going to tell us all about it. But first of all, I think I'm really interested in what caused you to either participate or maybe want to be one of the members, founding members. I'm not sure where you are in the lineup of involvement, but what caused you to want to participate in the Garden Club?
Well, I'm not a founding member. Back when I first started getting interested in gardening, I met someone through a painting class who was a gardener in the Palos area, and she told me that this was the best garden club in all of the Chicago area.
Right,
so
that's good.
Here I am.
Okay, well that's great, and I'm sure it is the best garden club. How about you, Lori? Well, this is Lori Martin. So, Lori, what made you join the garden club?
Yeah, so just like Debbie, a friend told me about it, a friend who had already joined, and what brought me was the fact that the garden club meets in the evening, and I work during the day, so a garden club that met in the evening was what I needed, and I've been coming ever since, and then decided to get involved with the board to just help plan and kind of facilitate some of the things that we do.
Well, that is wonderful, and I imagine there aren't like a garden club in every community, so it sounds like you kind of joined together with a lot of people coming in from all kinds of places nearby, Orland and Palos Park and so on.
Yeah, I'm coming all the way from Homer Glen.
Oh, well, that's a little trip, especially in the weather.
Yes,
Yeah.
If there is bad weather. Okay, so we'd like to know a little bit about the history of the Garden Club. I mean, you've been around for a long time. Debbie, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we started 29 years ago. Next year is our 30th anniversary. And it was just someone sent out, it was a small group of people that they've put out a notice, I think in a newspaper, the local paper. And they said, if you're interested in gardening, meet here. And they met, and they just sat down and said, okay, we're going to form it. I think it was just about a half a dozen people to start with.
And now you're up to a pretty good sizable number of people.
Almost 100.
Yeah, which is amazing. Now, if I wanted to attend the Garden Club meeting, or someone here wanted to go to, and I hope they do, what kind of topics? So what do you do at the Garden Club? Why is there a club?
Well, I'll tell what the why is, because we want to share our love of gardening, and we want to share, educate people. Everyone needs to learn more about gardening, even those of us who've been doing it for a long time. And we share resources too, where there's places and things that a gardener would be interested in. Good. You could be more specific about our meetings and things.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we meet in the evening once a month during the better part of the year. We don't meet in December and January or November. But the topics that our meeting presenters cover can be anything from, presentation on a very specific kind of flower, let's say roses or daylilies, to something, much more, like science-based. We had somebody presenting a year or two ago on ticks. We cover insects, trees, shrubs, blooming things, edibles. Debbie's a specialist herself in vegetable gardening. And we draw our ideas from our members. We ask them for input on what they'd like to learn about and hear about, and then we try to incorporate that into the programming for the coming year.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd like to add, if I could, our speakers are really top-notch. I mean, they are people, some of them have spoken at the Morton Arboretum and at the Chicago Botanic Garden. And if anyone in the audience has been to classes there, you know that you pay more to hear them one time than you do for a whole year of our club membership dues.
Okay, yeah.
So.
Well, There is where we are in the world, the climate that would be best suited for the types of flowers and trees and the native plants and so on. And it seems to me that lately so many people are more interested in having those native plants to our state for bees, butterflies, and so forth. So I imagine you would have a topic about that at some point in time.
Yes, indeed. We actually, for the past several years, we've had presenters at least once during each season talking about native plants, incorporating native plants into your existing garden, pollinators, things of that nature, because it really is kind of a current trend in gardening.
Yes, and kind of important, and also fun, that you're teaching that. I think it's nice for families to be able to teach the children, how to, get those butterflies in the yard and make bees happy and hummingbirds and all of that. So I think there's kind of a resurgence of people who want to grow vegetables, and you see other people's yards and they're like just lavish with beautiful flowers, and you're like, why aren't my flowers doing that? So I imagine you get a lot of people like asking those questions. How can I do better?
Exactly, and because this is in the local area, you're getting that advice from people who have the same growing conditions you do. So it's the best place to learn.
It is. I know when I go, doing my spring flower shopping, I look at the plants and think, well, I hope this grows, because maybe it's just not the right soil, or maybe it's not the right plant, even though it's really pretty. So do you have some springtime conversations, so people are planting the things that will flourish?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, in fact, yes. We have tried to balance our presentations with an eye to what people need to know in the spring. So, for example, in April, our presenter will be talking about the All-American Selections winners. Those are plants that have been bred to be very strong, very good performers. Each year there are different winners chosen, and so we'll be learning about those plants that are very likely to do well in our area and really flourish.
I think that's what's so important for people educating themselves and not being, upset or disappointed because their garden is not really growing very well. Yeah.
No, once you're a gardener, you learn patience. You learn that a garden is never finished. You learn that a garden is never what you dream that it's going to be, but rather, it's a living entity of its own, and that's the excitement of the discovery of what will be different each year.
Yes, yeah. I can see that. Also, there is that meditative quality about gardening that a lot of people enjoy, where they're just out in the garden, maybe doing a little weeding, a little watering, whatever. Do you find that to be true for you? Is that why you enjoy gardening so much?
Yes, I think that human beings are naturally want to be connected with the earth, and when you're out there, you are. You notice, since becoming a gardener, I've gotten interested in birds. You see all of the nature around. And while I specialize in edibles, I get interested in natives like Lori does, and I get interested in, I once would have thought that grasses are something boring, but now I've learned more. And
you see more grasses in people's yards that
right.
are
This is a prairie state. We
Yes.
just had a speaker about that. That we were a prairie state, and grasses are built for this area.
Right. Let's talk about the edibles for a minute, because I think, when spring comes and there's farmers markets and we're thinking, I'm going to grow peppers and cucumbers and melon and all of these things. But I am not always successful with that. So what do you talk about to help people, or do you recommend certain things for people, or you just go for it?
My first recommendation is grow what you'll eat. If you're not going to eat kale, don't bother growing it.
Yeah, that's pretty growing.
Well, and I'm into, edible landscaping is a thing too, where you grow edibles in a way that they look pretty.
Yeah.
And so it helps your ornamental garden as well. Plus, you're bringing in the pollinators. So grow what you'll actually eat and enjoy, and also it's fun to experiment. Never heard of a cucamelon? Well, try growing it and see what it's like. It's a little grape-sized cucumber thing. It looks like a tiny watermelon, but it tastes like a lemony cucumber. So you're not going to find those in a store usually, in a grocery store. So the only way to try it, is to grow your own. So start with what you like to eat and what you're interested in trying. Okay. And then the other thing is, it's important to know when to plant what, because we can't start tomatoes right now. We could start maybe the seeds indoors and take them out later if you're not going to buy them. But we can start thinking about those cool crops. You can start long before. Some people like to plant around Mother's Day or Memorial Day, and that's fine for tomatoes and peppers and things. But it's too late for things like lettuce and spinach and broccoli and those like the cool weather. You want to plant them in early spring or in late summer for a fall crop.
See, and the novice gardener wouldn't really know that.
Right.
I mean, you see it and you're like, I'm going to grow that.
Right.
Plant it in, June or July, and it doesn't work.
The first time I planted snow peas, I planted them the same time I was planting beans and cucumbers. It did not work.
No. I mean, so there is a time and a season for all things. And so I think sometimes that information, actually too, even though it may not be the topic of the meeting, being around other people who are interested, you can ask questions. Did you do this? How do I do that? And I would think there'd be a lot of communication between your members.
Yes, there definitely is. I mean, that is one of the advantages of being in the club. We can ask each other questions. We share plants, seeds, all of these things, and we ask questions in our meetings. Sometimes we're asking the speaker, and someone in the club will have an answer, from their own experience. So it does help.
That's good. So the meetings now, from now on, in the months of more spring, so February, because you don't have meetings in January, but you do start in February?
Yes, we already had a first meeting of the year.
Okay, so we're doing February, March, et cetera. And so if someone wanted to come to a meeting, you would need to join as a member, or can you come as a guest?
Yes. You can come as guests.
Either one.
I give you a chance to talk too. You can come as guests. We usually ask for a $5 guest fee, but that then counts towards their membership dues if they come back the next month and decide to join the club, because we think once you come as a guest, you'll want to join.
Yes, I imagine you would, because if you're interested in gardening, then that's the place for you. Okay, so if people come and join and they want to, be pick and choose like what meeting maybe they want to go to, maybe they can't get to them all. Do you have like topics ahead of time so they know, I really want to be there talking about dahlias? I always see the dahlias over there at, the Lake Catherine Nature Center. So, I mean, is there a special time for each?
It's on our
speaker?
website.
Right. So we have a website, we have a Facebook page, Palos Heights Garden Club. You can find us easily, and all of our meeting schedule and other activities will be, listed on our media like that. And we also announce the meetings in local media, social media, etc. So I do think a lot of people come just through word of mouth, members bringing friends or neighbors, but we try to get the word out because everybody's welcome. A lot of our members are people like us who garden at home in all different ways, but there are many people who come just because they're interested in the growing world and nature and things like that. They may not even have a home garden. People who maybe live in an apartment or condo and don't have their own space to garden. We have many members like that.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
It's not like there's a requirement to be an active gardener. We welcome everybody.
Okay, no one's going to check.
No, right.
Where's your garden?
No garden police.
Okay, that's
No.
good. So people can come. I know you have at least, one event that I know of, and that's the garden walk, which sounds really wonderful because that gives you a really visual experience in someone else's yard. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we do it every June instead of our regular meeting, and this is a special event. It's one of the advantages of being a member because it is a members-only garden walk. So every member is welcome to come, and it's usually members in the club who have opened their garden for that year for the walk, and we've had 2 to 5 gardens on our walks each year, and just like you said, you learn a lot just from seeing what someone else is doing in the same climate as yours. And we get different sizes. Some people have larger gardens, some people have smaller gardens, and you learn how to use the space well. You get a lot of ideas from those garden walks.
I mean, that sounds really fun, to really get a look at someone's, because, as you walk your dog or whatever, you don't, you might see their flowers or whatever in front, but you don't see what they're doing in their backyard,
Yes.
which is like, kind of really interesting. And a lot of backyards are kind of lavish because that's where people spend their time. So they're really paying attention to the flowers or growing vegetables or fruit or whatever. Do many people, is like a fruit tree, apple trees, cherry trees, etc., that would grow around here, is that like part of gardening exactly?
Absolutely.
It is.
I have
Okay.
several fruit trees, apple trees and Asian pear, and people in our area could also grow cherries. Some actually do peaches and apricots. Those can lose their bloom sometimes with an early frost, but it works. There are things made for our area. There's some things that we can't grow unless we grow them in a pot and bring them inside. I currently have a Meyer lemon tree in my house.
You do. Okay.
And,
That's kind of, I was going to name lemons, oranges, grapefruit. You can't really, we're not prone to do very well with those.
Right.
Yes. Okay, well, that sounds like fun. And remember, you do have to be a member to do that. But your membership fee is very low, and you do have, I don't know if you have to, pay people or rent the room. Speaking of rent the room, where are the meetings held?
So we meet most months. We're meeting now at the Palos Heights Public Library in their large
The meeting room?
meeting room.
Uh-huh.
And in July and August, we meet at Lake Catherine in their auditorium.
Okay.
We open the doors at 6:30. People have half an hour to socialize and get some delicious refreshments.
Oh,
and
that's
then
nice.
our meeting runs generally from 7 until around 8 or maybe slightly after 8. So about an hour. And there you have it.
Well, that's great. And it's really, I think it's so important, too, to have that social kind of time where, you can make connections with people and have a minute to talk over a few things or have a few questions
Exactly.
for people. That's really important. And I'm sure that would be on the website, too, right, where your location is, because it doesn't stay in the same place. Okay,
Yes.
that's good. Now, you do also a lot of things within the community. You want to talk about that a little bit? Where are you in the community, such as like the farmers market and that kind of thing?
Exactly. We usually have a table at the farmers market. We aim for two times during the summer. Do you have the dates for that, or?
No, I don't
But
have
it'll be on
the
our website,
confirmed
yeah.
dates,
Yeah.
but generally a table earlier in the farmer's market season and then one toward the end of the summer or so.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where you can come by and talk to us and learn about the club if you want to join it or just come and visit it.
Yeah.
And then we also do the Palos Heights Adopt-A-Pot.
Oh, yeah.
Where, if you see those beautifully planted containers around the area here, that, they'll each have a sign, and there's one that'll have the Palos Heights Garden Club on there.
Awesome. That's great.
And then you want to talk about the Pollinator Palooza we're doing?
Yeah, so the Pollinator Palooza is an event that'll happen at McCord House in Palos Park. in the spring. I don't remember the date. It's in May, is it?
I think so.
And in any case, it'll be a day-long event all about pollinators. We will have an information table there. So
Yeah, it's put on by the Palos Park Women's Club, I believe.
Okay, and do you have to be a member of the garden club to go to that, or anyone can go?
No, this is for the public.
This
The
is for everybody,
Right.
okay.
We're just participating as we'll be one of the exhibitors there with the table.
Okay, and it's sometime in May, but again, check the website because I think all this
We'll have
information
it.
would be on there too.
Right.
And I guess that's all, unless we want to touch on something else that you want to mention about the club to encourage people to find out more about it. If you feel like you don't know if you want to join or not, you can just go and pay your $5, and then that goes to your membership when you decide, this is great, I want to be a member. So is there anything else we want to talk about before we go?
I will just mention one thing. We are genuinely interested in trying to get more young people involved in gardening, and we welcome people to bring their children, grandchildren, whatever. We will have a program in May on gardening with children specifically, but we would like to embrace gardening for all ages. So,
Yeah.
That sounds good, and really, it's so important for kids, and they love it. They love to go out there and then find their vegetables that maybe they'll eat them too. That would be a
Yes,
good thing
yes.
too, because I grew this. So that would be wonderful, and that's the May meeting. So that would be a good time to check it out too, or become a member and join in. So that sounds wonderful. I encourage all kids to do some gardening. Well, Debbie and Lori, thank you so much for coming in and letting us know about the Garden Club right here in Palos Heights. So you can participate in that too. We'll put the website up on the screen so you can check that out. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching us. We'll see you next time on Around Palos.